Welcome into the crypto bunker. So guys, the long-awaited crypto bill has been released. Obviously, this is not something that has been passed yet. So this is just kind of the beginning, but it does to define the terrain between crypto securities and commodities. And most cryptos would be considered commodities such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, and CFTC would be crypto's watchdog. So this is super good for Ethereum. It's good for a lot of cryptos, in my opinion, that they didn't try to initially, at least, say that they were securities. Now, will the SEC come back and argue this? They might, but I think Congress has more power than the SEC. So again, this is definitely good, but let's go through the rest of it. We can see CFTC would have authority over the spot markets in crypto commodities. It gives legal clarity on how to handle customer holdings, clarifies the meaning of a crypto broker. This is where it gets a little bit wishy-washy for me. I don't know if I love the CFTC having authority over spot markets in crypto commodities. To me, that just screams manipulation, but I don't think necessarily they can manipulate something over the long term. They definitely do in the short term. I mean, I can show you the silver chart and what they do to that, and the CFTC oversees that. But anyway, that's not something that I love that's in there. Calls for SEC, CFTC self-regulatory organization. Creates an industry sandbox in which regulators let crypto firms test new products. I like this because I think it gives a framework around new projects and how they need to operate within the system, and sort of gives them a chance to innovate while also, testing out and seeing if it's the way they're doing it is legal. 100% reserve, asset type, and detailed disclosure requirements for all payment stablecoin issuers. This is definitely good. USDC, qualifies. DAI qualifies. I don't know if Tether does at this point. I still am questionable on Tether. It requires certain disclosure to the SEC from companies raising funds through digital asset sales. That makes sense. So it might just be like detailing your project, saying, hey, this is what we're doing. It's going to shake a lot of things up. There's no doubt about it, but I feel comfortable now. Again, I've been saying the dollar cost average, not financial advice. None of what I say is financial advice, but last night I just want to make sure I was sounding a little bit bearish. I mean, obviously I was, a little bit scared of what was going on. We do see this is sort of, it's a scary bottom, but I'm wondering, like, can we qualify this as instead of it could be a falling wedge a little bit, because as we know, last time we had this was sort of a rising wedge on ETH, and that's when it's going to go down, is when you have a big crash and then you have a rising wedge like this, and then usually that will end up going down. But when you go down and then you have a falling wedge, that actually ends up usually breaking upwards. So interestingly enough, I mean, I'll just be honest with you guys, because I know this is a smaller community. I have a few ounces of gold. I'm thinking of maybe DCAing one of them into ETH today. It's potentially, you could say on this chart here, I guess you could call that a lower high. Um, you could say that this was sort of a little bit of a blow off. It's not really a blow off. I mean, but we came a long way. I mean, we were buying down here, um, probably around 0.47, um, around 0.44, those levels. So, um, to get 100% no plus gain on that. And the other thing is, like, I have a lot of other exposure to gold and gold miners in my retirement account. Basically, my entire retirement account right now is gold, um, bullion and gold miners. Like, there's a fund called First Eagle Gold, and they have 20% gold bullion, and then like a percentage of gold miners, and then maybe like 4% silver bullion, and then like maybe one small silver miner, but mostly gold miners. So I sort of have the exposure to gold through that. And I'm gonna potentially keep, dollar cost averaging into that, through my work. So, that sort of almost covers me within 2 months of getting that extra ounce exposure. So, um, obviously I'm bullish ETH. You know, I can show you guys like some things that are going on with ETH right now. I am sort of, I have my exposure to ETH through my staking, obviously. So, but I mean, we look at this and we see, 2,400,000 ETH have been burned. That's 5.48 ETH per minute. And, um, obviously it's a pretty good, steady supply rate right now. This is without the merge. I don't know where the button went for the merge. Oh, simulate merge. Where's that? So again, -2%, for the merge. So that's insane. I mean, it's crazy to even think that this is possible. I think it assumes that people won't like sell. I don't know though, but 2.9 million ETH per year burned during the merge. Or I guess that might even be without, but you can see the issuance drops like 10x, because if you have to go from 2% to -2%, that's a 10x difference. We can also look at some things like, which, which things are burning the most ETH. And you can see there are two layer twos on here, which is cool to see. So these layer twos have to settle back with Ethereum. So in the future, we're going to be using layer twos to do all of our transactions. And this is why I'm so bullish on ETH, is because it just makes it easier for the world to unbank themselves, and for banks to integrate with Ethereum and be able to use layer twos and settle back with Ethereum. So you have the same security properties, and data availability, data decentralization, as Ethereum, but you're now, using Optimism, Arbitrum, ZK Sync, Starkware, Polygon, these layer twos that are really going to be strong for Ethereum. And you can just see all these ETH. Now, I still think like, hey, if the Tether stuff comes in, that could be a bearish thing. We'll see what happens. But, after I read that, I felt pretty bullish. I mean, it's it's definitely something that, I think that ends up being bullish for the industry potentially. Um, but yeah, this guy's saying zero hedge crypto's sliding because Target has too many bathing suits. So he's saying because they're saying the consumer is screwed and all this, which makes sense, like obviously, but because crypto has really been tracking the NASDAQ. So if we're looking at what the NASDAQ looks like, the bears are sort of coming in pretty good here. So I do think we're going to make a lower low. I mean, this isn't even that far away. I do think we're going to go down to 250 on the NASDAQ, which would probably take us, through our lower lows, potentially here. That's why I'm saying if it's a DCA play. It's not necessarily going all in here. It's obviously not, close to doing that yet. But I mean, if you think about what's the market capitalization of Ethereum relative to, some other coins, or relative to other companies, it doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't be $220 billion coin, right? It should be like, a trillion, for sure. So we just sort of have to realize that in the grand scheme of things, we may actually be looking at more bullish, things for Ethereum, more bullish things for the crypto industry at large. And so I'll leave it at that, but hopefully you guys got something out of the video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and have a great